Hello, I'm Joseph Hoffman, and in this lesson, we're going to be learning the B section of Scherzo by Franz Joseph Haydn from his Piano Sonata number 9. Let's get started by checking out the score. All right, this time for analysis, I'd like to analyze intervals instead of the chords. For example, this interval right here, what would it be? Can you figure it out? Remember, for intervals, we count from the bottom note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Counting every line and space, we can see that's a seventh. Now, one trick, so you don't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. That's the slow way to figure out intervals. The fast way is to remember that the odd intervals always go, and by odd intervals, I mean like thirds, fifths, sevenths, not odd like they're weird. The other kind of odd, the math kind of odd, 3, 5, and 7. Those intervals always go from like to like, meaning from a space note to a space note, or from a line note to a line note. And the even intervals, like fourths, sixths, and octaves, always have one line note and one space note. So we'll go from a line to a space, like this one here. You know that's going to be a fourth, sixth, or octave. So it helps you hone in and more quickly recognize intervals when you know that little trick. So I'm going to mark which ones I'd like you to analyze on your own. So every place I drew a little bracket, I'd like you to write in your own music the name of these melodic intervals. Pause to work on that, then press play when you're ready to check out the correct answers. All right, here are the correct answers. Take a moment to check your work. 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, down here in the left hand, up here, the 6th, and then going off the edge of the page, a 5th, down on the left hand, a 6th, here's an octave, and another 6th. If you got all those correct, great job. If not, takes a minute to figure out what you did wrong. And were you able to use that trick of line note to line note? You know that has to be either a third, fifth, or seventh, and you can kind of probably start to recognize, oh, that's not a third. I can see they're not that close. It's the next one up, so it's got to be a fifth. When you're learning new music, practice recognizing intervals quickly so you can learn it faster and faster. Now, one of the reasons to take the time to figure out intervals like this is to see if there are any patterns. What do you notice about the left hand? Notice we've got a 6, going to a 5th, 4th, 3rd. Simple pattern, right? We're just closing that interval one step at a time, and then it goes back to a 6th. If you like, you could also take some time to write the counts in. You'll notice we have another little pickup to measure 9 here, and then 1 e-andas. You could take some time to write in the counts like this. Let's practice just this first measure and a half, clapping the rhythm while we count the beat out loud. I'll count 1 e-anda to get us ready, and then we'll come in on the and of beat 2. Try to count out loud while we clap together. Here's the getting ready beat. 1 e-anda, 2 e-anda, 1 e-anda, 2 e-anda, 1 e-anda, 2 for that 8th rest. On your own, you're welcome to write in more counts. Otherwise, one last thing before we start to play it would be to look for any Bs. Remember, from our key signature, those all need to be flat. Here's a B, so you can mark that as a flat in your music. More Bs. Here's another B, so you can mark all of them, or just remember, all those Bs in that measure, of course, are going to be flat. I don't see any other Bs on this line. Down here, I see a B here. Then I'm going to let you find the rest. And a hint, there are also some Bs in the left hand on this line, but I'll let you pause the video to find those if you like. And when you're ready, let's continue and try playing it. All right, you'll notice that here, as we start the B section, I've got a finger 5 marked on that B flat, but also in parentheses a finger 4. I actually prefer finger 4, but I also have really big hands. So you can try out both, and when you see a number in parentheses, that means it's an alternate fingering. You can try both, and see what fits your hand better, whether it's a 5, which might be easier for average to smaller hands, or if you have a comfortable reach, finger 4 up to that B flat, either one is fine. And 1. And then you'll notice the note repeats, but it changes to a finger 3. That, again, it's to prepare you for this D that's coming in a little bit. If you forget to change to that 3, it's going to make that D harder. So follow the fingerings, switch to a 3, and then you'll be ready for that D that's coming. So again, watch these fingerings carefully as you're using it, and don't use bad fingerings. I like to say, using a bad fingering is like putting on your shoes first and then your socks. Technically, you can do it, but it's just awkward and doesn't work. Taking the time to use the right fingering from the start makes everything easier in the long run. Now, pause the video, and I'd like you to try to learn the right hand part from measure 9 up to the end of measure 16. Pause to work on that on your own, and then press play, and I'll demonstrate it for you. All right, here is our B section, starting at the pickup to measure 9. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2. I'm going to pause to remind you that the rests matter. This 8th rest happens right on beat 2. 1 E and a 2. Lift the wrist right when you hit beat 2. 1 E and a 2 E and whoops. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. And again, those fingerings are really important to make sure you land on the right note here. And then you've got to do a 3 there. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2. And then we go on to the next page. But before we go on, let's go back and check out the left-hand part. Now, you'll notice lots of back and forth notes here. So when you've got notes back and forth, think of just kind of rotating your hand slightly, just like you're jiggling the handle of a doorknob, the handle of a door. Because doorknobs don't have handles. The handle of a doorknob. Wouldn't that be funny? So the handle of a door, you're just like kind of rotating like this, rocking back and forth. All right, pause the video and practice your left-hand part from measure 9 up to measure 16. Then press play and I'll demonstrate it for you. All right, here's the left-hand part played at a moderato speed. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 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 E and there's that pattern we see so much in classical music, where you've got a 5th on the bottom, a 4th on the top. It's just such a common sound in music. As a 4th plus a 5th gives us an octave, so it's just a really solid sound. Now, if that matched what you played, great job. You can always pause if you need more practice. Otherwise, let's go on to the next section. Now, let's check out the last 2 lines of Scherzo in the score. You'll notice that this is a return to the A section. However, whenever you see a return of an A section, you have to be extra careful to check every note, because composers will often change something. Sometimes they'll change a lot. Sometimes they'll just change even one note. So you can't assume anything. I'd like you to pause the video and see if Haydn's doing an exact repeat of what he did before, or if there's anything different. Find what's the same and what's different, then press play and we'll check it out together. Now, if you looked carefully, you will have discovered every note is exactly the same, although we do have a new dynamic marking here. Now we're a forte on this final phrase, and then starting right here in measure 23, the the right hand starts to do something different before it's skipped down. And this is why you have to be so careful, because instead of a skip of a third, he changed it to a step down. It's just one note different. The left hand also is just one note different. Before we had a C and a G, and this time it's a B flat and a G. Those tiny little differences are so easy to miss, which is why you have to be so careful. And then, whoa, we get something crazy here. This might be our first piece we've done together that uses 30-second notes. Remember, when you have two beams, that makes it 16th notes. If you add a third beam, now they go even twice as fast compared to 16th notes, 30-second notes. Let's do a quick review of rhythms so this makes perfect sense. Remember, a quarter note equals one beat. And if you want to go twice as fast as that, you can use eighth notes. Two eighth notes fit inside one quarter note, which is why they go twice as fast. If you want to go even faster, you can use 16th notes, which need two beams. Or if you're writing just one 16th note all by itself, you can use flags. 4 16th notes equals one quarter note, which equals two eighth notes. So they go twice as fast as eighth notes, or 4 times as fast as quarter notes. But we can go even faster still with 30-second notes, which need 3 beams. They go twice as fast as 16th notes, or 4 times as fast as eighth notes, or 8 times as fast as quarter notes. So if we're saying ta, 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 for quarter notes, this is T, 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 T. This is ticky, 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 dubba, 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 dubba. The fastest thing I can say is dubba, I realized when I was trying this out earlier. So if this is ticky, 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 dubba, 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 about as fast as you can play. So when you see these 30-second notes here, what you'll do, don't panic, just think your counts. 1 E and 2 E. When you play E, or when you get to E, you've got to play 2 notes in the space of 1 16th notes. Because remember, these go twice as fast as 16th notes. Each layer goes twice as fast as the layer above. So you'll have to fit both of these in the space of 1 16th note. I'll demonstrate. So playing this would be 1 E and 2 E E and E E and. And of course, at full speed, it will go even faster. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. That's going to go very fast right there. It's lots of fun. Let's come to the piano and try to play this. All right, so in measure 23, we're starting on a finger 2 because of where we just came from. We just played in measure 22, 1 E and 2 E and. So 2 will already be ready on that G, and then we have 1 E and then this is really important. You've got to put finger 1 on G, so then your finger 4 can cross over for that last little da-ba-da-ba-ba. Watch that again. So I'm starting on the first note of measure 23, 1 E and finger 1 comes to G, 2 E E and 2 E E and. And what I suggest is let's just practice that 2 E E and in slow motion. Start with a finger 1 on G, 2 on the E, finger 4 comes over, and you're going to play 2 fast 30-second notes, E, E, and then and 2 E E and Now you try. The fingerings are important. It's not just the notes we have to get. We've got to train our hand with the right motions. 2 E E and a little faster now. You try. Again with finger 1 on G, 2, 4 crosses over, 2 E E and let's go even faster now. 2 E E and your turn. Go. Now pause the video, and I want you to just do that a few times, but make sure your rhythm is accurate. It's 2 E E and ba 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 T ticky T T. You could think of it that way. T ticky T T ba 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 ba. I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry. Sometimes putting words to a tricky rhythm can make it easier. I'm in a hurry. Pause and work on that little segment until you can do it easily and comfortably. Then press play to go on. Now let's connect that to the notes right before. With finger 2 on the G, the hard part is getting that thumb on the G as you start beat 2, because finger 2 is already on the G here, then switch to a 1, cross over. Pause the video and work on that section. Now we've expanded to the beat before, and then press play when you're ready to go on. And then, of course, we'll add in the left hand. Boom, boom, boom. Pause to try these left-hand chords, and then if you want to challenge yourself to try it hands together, you can. It's up to you, or you could save the hands together for later. But pause and at least work on the left hand by yourself, then press play to go on. All right, now we know all the notes for the whole piece. It's your turn to take the next few days to practice. Do some hands alone work. Do some hands together work when you feel ready. You can use metronome to keep a nice steady beat. Watch the slurs, watch the staccato dots, watch the dynamics. Putting in those details from the start will just make it that much easier for you in the long run. So you build good habits from the start, especially fingerings. Great job learning the B section of Scherzo by Haydn. Happy practicing, and see you next time.
Hey, Scuba, why couldn't the pianist find the composer?
I don't know. Why?
Because he was Haydn.
Haydn? Well, why was he hiding? Tell him to come out.